You really think that actually, given what you've said today, that you're kind of diverging, you see things a bit differently to other, major central banks?
Well, I think just now there are not that many differences. I mean, we had, if you go back to March, then you had a different situation. We had a policy rate at 1.5, but given the pandemic that hit us all during the winter and spring, we are now, most of us are now close to zero. And for our part, we have, in addition, undertaken a number of, well, let's call them unconventional measures linked to monetary policy that we haven't applied for quite some time.
Talk to me a little bit about inflation.
We have a very expansionary fiscal policy as well, monetary policy as well now.
Yeah. Governor, talk to me a bit about inflation. Would you be inclined, like the Fed, for inflation to overshoot? Would you be comfortable with that?
Well, with reference to the new strategy of the Fed, one brief interpretation of that is that it reflects the Fed's strengthened view of having of having a flexible inflation targeting system with a dual mandate, with sufficient attention to the real economy and to the unemployment level. We have our mandate and our own version of what you can call flexible inflation targeting, and with sufficient focus on the same, namely the real economy. And we have been, for some time, quite relatively flexible with respect to achieving a specific number for the inflation.
Governor Tom Keene in New York. Good morning, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Is dollar strength intrusive upon you? If we see a persistent resilience in the dollar, does that limit the Norwegian toolkit?
A hard question. We're small. Norway's a small, open economy, and when the dollar moves, our currency and many other currencies move as well. As you know, we have seen even the last days a new round of a weaker Norwegian krone. But I think there's no drama. It's nothing similar to the situation we experienced and handled back in March, where we had to intervene for the first time since the late 1990s. In our view, now that even the currency market functions quite well, close to normal, and we are in a very different situation.
When I look at the advantages of Norway, and we all understand hydrocarbons and such, you have your own fiscal calculus. Tell us about the fiscal pressure you face given the surge, a relative surge in unemployment out near 5%. Are you the last nation? You would think so, but are you under fiscal pressure?
As a central bank?
As a central bank and as a nation?
Not at well. As a central bank, there is no pressure from any authority to sort of coming closer to what you can call contributing to fiscal policy. And as you know, our fiscal situation as a nation is very special. We have abundant reserves, and this room of maneuver in fiscal policy has been exploited, and in this very difficult situation we are all into these days with the pandemic. So yes, fiscal policy has been quite expansionary, but unlike many other countries, we have assets, huge financial assets to back that. But this is not our responsibility, of course.
Yeah, Governor, when you look at some of the imbalances that maybe we observe because of ultra-low rates for longer, is there anything that we're underappreciating? Is there anything that you worry about that we're not looking at yet?
Oh, yeah, there are always things to worry about from our point of view. We are in an extreme situation. I think we all worry about the pandemic and how that develops. And science and developments in most countries, including our own, has been quite worrying since the summer. So that's the main uncertainty. This has led to a historically sharp downturn in our economy as well, like in many other countries, and that has been handled by fiscal policy and also to some extent monetary policy, which in our case has contributed to fight the downturn. But yes, there are always more specific worries as well. One specific area which we mentioned in our recent report is we are so far we're quite happy that we have prevented in this situation a downturn in the housing market. So housing prices have the rise in housing prices have been somewhat stronger than we anticipated in the summer. But that is a worry, of course, if that growth continues, fueled by very low interest rates, and that also could fuel again a rise in debt by households. So that is an area which we have a focus on. But so far, we are relatively pleased with the development in our economy.